I truly run the continuous risk of being banned from YouTube. I'm not alone by any means. Say the wrong thing, people. Touch the third rail, and poof, you're gone too. But let's take that banning, in general, from Fedbook, Zuckergram, or Twatter, socialist media, approved speech, to a higher level. Banned from the internet. Can't happen here. Won't happen here. The First Amendment would prohibit governments, federal, state, or local, from doing such a thing. Rise and shine, people. It has happened here. Want more? Stay with me, 'cause I'm just getting started. Friday the 16th of April 2021, payday for the crew, half a day at the Charlie Foxtrot. Yay, wahoo, and all that good stuff. In this lengthy video, I'll be playing a snippet, a soundbite, from James and James over at Corbett Report Extras, seeing how the main channel on YouTube was banned. Don't think this backup channel of theirs is going to last much longer either. But first, let me give you my take. Why not, people? It's Friday. My read, if you will, on the Constitution. Feel free to disagree. Feel free to challenge what I claim. But let's hear your arguments against my positions. Here goes. If I got $1 for every time throughout my vast travels, yep, at least a quarter, maybe a third of the known flat earth, for every time I heard someone, including lawyers, especially Room 10 Plus, 7 IQ, bottom feeders, they can't do that, it's unconstitutional, I'd be a millionaire. You ever heard that? You ever said that? I'll tell you what, people. Here's my take. Very simple. The only select, chosen few that, 1, are appointed by the President, and 2, are confirmed by the Senate. Yep, the 9 members. The 9 black-robed Masonic high priests of the Supreme Cult. Only they rule on what is or what isn't constitutional. Nobody. No one else. That's it. Period. Worse. Just a majority of 9. Read your Constitution. You don't have to be ignorant of this fact. Surprised? Come on, really? You ever heard of Francis Bacon? Born 1561, died 1626, and his epic Masonic work, The New Atlantis? He was speaking of the new America. This America. Today's Babylon. Conceived in Masonry, founded by Masons. Washington, D.C., laid out, surveyed in Masonic symbols. Take a look at the road maps. You got them, concealed in plain view. Filled with Masonic symbols. Home of the 33rd degree temple. I could go on, but here's the point. Here's the takeaway, if you will. You expect that document, written by and for the Masonic ilk, the esoteric Masons, to offer you an infidel rights, paper rights, and then empower courts to enforce those rights? People, if you claim your rights come from a piece of paper, G.W. Bush, remember him? W. Supposedly said once, the Constitution is nothing but a goddamn piece of paper. I think he's right. A paper that changes, evolves. It's called legal positivism. Legal positivism. The law is what the court says the laws are. Yeah, by the Supremes. So, I think you truly haven't got much. Kind of like paper money if you claim paper rights. Prove me wrong. Deal with it or don't. I don't give a shit. Now, here's James and James. You say it can't happen here. You say it won't happen here. A little lengthy, people, but it's necessary to get the point. I'll link this video below, but for those who don't like links, check this out.
One of the stars of the Insurrection Show is not allowed on the internet, not because Twatter or Fedbook banned her, but because a federal judge did. If Gina, the stylist, goes online while awaiting trial, she risks being jailed. The article notes, judges have long been reluctant to ban anyone from the internet, a restriction that essentially cuts a person off from much of modern society and has been reserved mostly for accused and convicted pedophiles, except the ones employed by the state. As toxic disinformation becomes an increasingly dangerous threat, driving domestic terrorism and violence, they say, without evidence, the courts are facing vexing new questions around how often and under what circumstances those accused of taking part should be taken offline altogether. We are headed into uncharted waters, says Nina Jankowicz, a fellow at the Wilson Center, a Washington think tank where she studies disinformation. Hi, Nina, if you're checking in on us.
Miss Nina. Yeah, one of the usual suspects, people. God damn, they're so helpful.
Given the threats we see continuing and the heightened alerts, it is clear things are not dissipating. That is why judges are making these calls. Yet, attorneys for others accused of taking part in the attack on the Capitol are aggressively fighting the restrictions, and judges are struggling with how far to take them. Prosecutors have moved to bar at least 5 defendants in the Capitol insurrection from going on social media or even online at all. This according to court filings reviewed by the Los Angeles Times. Those defendants are awaiting trial dates that will be months away at, of course, the Justice Department. Now, don't forget, that's the Justice Department that stole the Promise software with connections to Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, Robert, the drowned Mossad agent.
Think Jeff Epstein, people. Don't forget about Jeffrey.
That Justice Department. They're grappling with one of the most complex and all-consuming investigations in its history, they'd like you to believe. The potential abuse of speech rights in the future cannot justify the blanket prohibition imposed here on speech before it's even been uttered, an Ohio court wrote when throwing out one of these types of cases. But Nina, the disinfo expert, says these bans are not something that should be considered for your average criminal, but these are not your average cases. And we will note, as you did at the top, this is the first New World Next Week since Corbett Report has been banned by YouTube. James, you might have some thoughts on this story?
Oh, a thought or two has occurred to me regarding this type of thing. Look, here's the real takeaway from this. This is the second or third step in the Pincher movement, where they start, of course, this is why it's called the World Wide Web. They lure you into the web because it's this wonderful place. You got all this information, you can interact, you can do all this stuff. It's incredible, it's useful, it improves your life in oh so many ways. And then, once they've got you in there, they say, and now you have to be here. You have to carry the smartphone around in your pocket at all times, because you need these apps to interact in society from now on. You have to have an account. You have to have social media presence, or else we won't employ you. What, you don't have a social media account? You don't have a Facebook? Oh, I don't know if I can employ you. What kind of weirdo are you? It becomes mandatory at some point, and then they come along and say, well, we're going to ban you because you were filmed at the wrong location at the wrong time, being part of this insurrection that overthrew the government. And oh wait, no, some unarmed person got shot by police, and this is the insurrection that almost overthrew the. Total nonsense, top to bottom. But people who are already watching this already know that. But this is the way they do it. Oh, it's so great! Come on in, come to this wonderful playground that we have for you. And then they lock the gate, and then they get to throw people out and cast them out of society, essentially. And one wonders, I mean, what kind of legal nonsense, jiggery-pokery are they going to pull to? Literally, I mean, it's like saying we're going to ban you from being able to read a newspaper or something. Where does the government get off doing that, especially in the U.S. with First Amendment and all of this? How can they ban you from participating and speaking online? Like, I don't know. There seems to me, I'm not a lawyer, but it seems like they'd have to do a lot of legal jumping around to make this stick at even a Supreme Court level. But then again, as we know, the courts are rigged.
Okay, James. I couldn't have said it better myself. James and James. You're not a lawyer, James? I ain't either. Don't want to be. But I'll tell you what. It wouldn't help you if you were, unless you were one of 9 lawyers. Supreme cult, people. That's the way it is. It's going to get to the point. It's going to get to the place wherein you will have a money pass, a health pass, and an internet pass, all contained on your little cattle ear tag. Yeah, your smartphone. Looking down at it right now maybe. And you will need all 3 just to survive. They sure hope you believe this. And unfortunately, many will. Especially my favorite group. You know the ones. You gotta go along to get along, dude. Yep, the heroes. Modern day heroes. If they only had a chest to pin a medal on. Or better yet, grew a pair. Okay. I know where my rights come from, people. I know what they once cost and will cost. Yep. Advocating your real rights given to you by the Creator will cost you your life. Think your paper rights will save your life? Extend your life? Maybe. For a while, that is. But you ain't getting out of this alive either. And son of a bitch, I ran long. I got stuff to do.